The sun was setting over the quiet town of Lyra. The sky was painted with shades of orange and pink, and the small houses glowed with the soft light of evening. Myra, a young engineer with a curious mind, was walking near the edge of the forest. She loved the forest because it was full of life and mysteries. The birds sang their last songs of the day, and the wind moved the leaves gently. Myra had no idea that this evening would change her life forever. Suddenly, a strange sound broke the calm. It was not the sound of animals or the wind. It was deeper and more mechanical. Myra stopped and looked toward the forest. Her eyes widened in surprise. A spacecraft, unlike anything she had seen in books or videos, was landing in a small clearing. It glowed softly, reflecting colors that seemed impossible. The craft was smooth and rounded, with light moving along its surface like waves. Myra felt both fear and excitement. She wanted to run, but something inside her told her to stay. She watched carefully as the craft settled on the ground. The lights on the ship dimmed, and a door opened slowly. Myra's heart raced. From the opening, a small figure stepped out. It was an alien, but not frightening. Its skin shimmered with changing colors, soft and bright like living lights. It had large eyes that seemed to look at everything with curiosity. Myra stepped closer, holding her hands up to show she meant no harm. The alien noticed her and tilted its head. It made soft sounds, almost like a song, but she could not understand them. Myra took a deep breath. She remembered all the stories she had read about first contacts with other worlds. She knew she had to be careful, but she also felt something strong inside her, a desire to communicate. She offered a small piece of bread and some water. The alien looked at it, then nodded slightly, and slowly reached for it. Myra smiled. The gesture was small, but it meant trust. Over the next few hours, Myra and the alien, whom she decided to call Tavi, stayed near the clearing. Myra learned that Tavi was gentle and curious. She could see Tavi examining leaves, stones, and small insects. Tavi's skin changed color with every emotion. When Tavi was happy, it glowed soft blue. When curious, it shimmered green. When unsure, it turned yellow. Myra watched in wonder, fascinated by this creature that seemed alive in every way. Myra tried to communicate with gestures. She pointed to the sun, to the trees, and to herself. Tavi mimicked her movements, slowly learning the meaning of her gestures. Myra laughed softly when Tavi tried to touch a tree but moved back in surprise at the rustling sound of leaves. The connection between them grew quickly. Neither of them spoke the same language, but trust and understanding were forming in their own way. Night fell, and the forest became quiet except for the sounds of animals. Myra realized that Tavi might be cold or hungry. She offered food again and built a small fire. Tavi stayed close but did not approach the flames. Myra understood and moved the fire a little farther. Tavi's skin glowed warmly, and Myra felt a connection she could not explain. It was as if they understood each other's feelings without words. Myra was also curious about Tavi's ship. She walked toward it carefully. The surface was smooth and cool. Lights moved along the walls in patterns she had never seen. She tried touching a panel, and the surface responded by glowing brighter. Tavi watched her, and its eyes seemed pleased. Myra realized that the ship was intelligent in some way, almost alive. She wanted to explore it, but she did not want to frighten Tavi. While Myra was looking at the ship, she noticed small scratches and dents on its surface. She could tell it had traveled a long distance and had faced challenges. Myra thought about her life in Lyra, which was quiet and safe. She wondered how many planets Tavi had visited, how many creatures it had met. She felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. She was the first human Tavi had seen on this world. She knew that whatever happened next, this moment would matter. Tavi stepped closer to Myra. Its eyes reflected the firelight. Myra held her hand out slowly. Tavy raised its hand and touched hers lightly. The glow on Tavy's skin brightened. Myra felt a warmth in her chest. She knew that this was the start of something important. She wanted to help Tavy, to understand it, and maybe, to be its friend. The night passed with Myra and Tavy sitting near the fire. Myra told Tavy stories of Earth, of mountains, rivers, and animals. Tavy listened quietly, its colors changing with every story. Myra tried to teach Tavy simple human gestures. Tavy responded with new gestures of its own. They laughed together in their own way, learning from each other. Before dawn, Myra realized she had to return home. She could not leave Tavy alone, but she also could not take it to the town. She promised to come back. Tavy nodded and made a soft sound, almost like a promise. Myra left the clearing slowly, looking back once to see Tavy standing near the ship, glowing softly in the morning light. She felt a strange happiness mixed with worry. She knew that the days ahead would be full of challenges, but also full of discovery and friendship. Myra returned home with her mind racing. She thought about Tavy, about the universe, and about the possibilities ahead. She could not wait to see Tavy again. She felt certain that this small, curious alien had come into her life for a reason. She knew that together they could learn, grow, and face whatever the universe had in store. Myra fell asleep that morning, dreaming of stars, glowing lights, and the friendship that had just begun. The morning sun rose over Lyra, casting warm light across the rooftops and forest edge. Myra woke early, her mind still filled with thoughts of Tavy. She had barely slept, thinking about the alien and its glowing skin that changed with every emotion. Myra knew that she had to see Tavy again. She prepared a small bag with food and water and set off quietly toward the clearing in the forest. Her heart raced with excitement and a little fear. When Myra arrived at the clearing, she found Tavy waiting. Its skin shimmered in soft blues and greens. Tavy had moved closer to a small stream, watching the water ripple. Myra approached slowly, holding out a piece of bread. Tavy looked at her hand, then at her eyes, and nodded. Myra smiled, realizing that their connection was growing stronger. The two of them spent the morning exploring the forest. Myra showed Tavy the animals and plants she knew. She pointed to a squirrel climbing a tree and made gestures to explain how it collected nuts. Tavy mimicked her gestures carefully, showing it understood. When Myra reached a patch of wildflowers, Tavy crouched down, touching the petals gently. Its skin glowed bright green, a color Myra had learned meant curiosity and happiness. Myra decided to teach Tavy a simple game. She threw a small stick into the stream and showed Tavy how to pick it up. Tavy tried, but the stick floated in the water. Myra laughed, clapping her hands softly. Tavy's skin flashed bright blue, and it made a soft melodic sound. Myra realized that Tavy's way of showing happiness was beautiful and alive. They played together for hours, laughing in their own way, learning each other's movements and expressions. By noon, they were tired but happy. Myra shared her food with Tavy, and the alien shared something too. Tavy pointed to a glowing device on its body and touched it. Small holographic images appeared above it, showing faraway planets and star systems. Myra's eyes widened. She had never seen anything like this. Tavy's planets were colorful, some with ice, some with deserts, some covered in strange forests. Myra could feel the wonder in Tavy's gestures. The alien wanted her to understand its world, even if she could not visit yet. As the sun moved west, Myra sat on a large rock and looked at Tavy. She felt a strange sense of closeness. Tavy's eyes seemed to search hers, as if it understood her thoughts. Myra remembered a thought she had whispered the night before, "I could ask for anything." She looked at Tavy and smiled softly. "I could ask for anything," she said quietly. Tavy tilted its head, watching her closely, its skin glowing with a mix of colors that Myra could not yet name. Myra's voice became softer. Then, "Don't depart," she said, feeling a fear she could not hide. The thought of Tavy leaving made her chest ache. Tavy remained still for a long moment. Its skin shimmered in a slow rhythm, glowing green, then yellow, then soft blue. Myra realized Tavy was thinking, understanding the meaning behind her words. Slowly, Tavy raised its hand and touched hers. Myra felt warmth spreading through her. It was a silent promise, a bond forming between them that felt stronger than words. The afternoon passed with more exploration. Myra showed Tavy a small hill with a view of the entire forest. She pointed to the town below and tried to explain that these were her friends and neighbors. Tavy watched carefully, then touched Myra's shoulder gently. Its skin glowed soft blue, and Myra understood this meant comfort. She smiled and showed Tavy how to sit and watch the world from the hill. They both stayed in silence, enjoying the calm and learning from each other's presence. As evening approached, Myra became aware of her responsibilities. She could not take Tavy into the town yet. People might be afraid. Myra knew she needed to keep Tavy safe until she could figure out a way for them to meet others peacefully. She looked at Tavy, who was glowing soft green now, curious about everything around. Myra felt protective. She wanted to make sure Tavy would not be hurt. Myra led Tavy to a hidden spot near the stream, behind some large trees. It was a safe place where no one could easily find them. She showed Tavy how to sit near the water and rest. Tavy's glow shifted from green to soft yellow, showing trust and calm. Myra felt relief. She had learned that patience and care were important when building trust. She knew their friendship was special, and she wanted to protect it. Before leaving, Myra shared more stories of her world. She told Tavy about her family, the small joys of life in Lyra, and her dreams of building new machines. Tavy listened, its eyes wide with understanding. Myra laughed softly when Tavy tried to repeat her gestures. It looked awkward but sincere. Myra realized that even though Tavy was from a distant world, its heart and mind were full of curiosity and kindness. Night came, and Myra prepared to return home. She knelt beside Tavy and whispered softly, "I will come back tomorrow." Tavy tilted its head and touched her hand again, a soft glow confirming it understood. Myra felt a warmth in her heart. She knew that their bond was growing, stronger than any fear or distance. She walked home slowly, looking back at the forest where Tavy waited. She felt hope and excitement for the days ahead. That night, Myra could hardly sleep. She kept thinking about Tavy, about the glowing skin, the alien planets, and the silent promise they had shared. She realized that her life in Lyra had changed. Something new and extraordinary had entered her world. Myra felt both fear and courage. She knew that learning about Tavy and its universe would not be easy, but she was ready. She was ready to face challenges, explore mysteries, and protect the bond she had formed. As she drifted into sleep, Myra dreamed of glowing lights, distant planets, and the sound of Tavy's soft melodic voice. She dreamed of friendship that crossed worlds, of trust that could not be broken, and of adventures that awaited them. Myra felt certain that this was only the beginning of a journey that could change her life and maybe the world. She smiled in her sleep, knowing that tomorrow she would return to the forest, and her life would never be the same again. The next morning, Myra woke early as usual, her mind full of thoughts about Tavy. She hurried through her breakfast and packed a small bag with food, water, and a few tools. Today, she planned to spend more time with Tavy and learn more about the strange ship that had landed in the forest. Her heart beat faster with excitement. She knew that every moment with Tavy was important, but she also sensed that challenges might come. When she reached the clearing, she saw Tavy near the stream. Its glowing skin reflected the sunlight, changing from soft blue to green. Tavy moved carefully as Myra approached, tilting its head as if it had noticed her arrival even from a distance. Myra smiled and waved, and Tavi responded with a slow wave of its hand. She felt happiness in the small gestures. Today, she wanted to help Tavi repair its ship, even though she had little knowledge of alien technology. Tavi seemed to understand Myra's intention. It led her to the spacecraft, pointing toward a panel that looked slightly damaged. Myra examined it carefully. The surface was smooth and shiny, but a faint crack ran across one corner. Small lights flickered irregularly. Myra frowned and thought about how to help. She had tools, but nothing designed for alien technology. Tavi watched her, glowing soft yellow, as if encouraging her to try. Myra carefully touched the panel. The lights on the ship responded to her touch, shifting colors from blue to green. Myra realized the ship was partly alive and reacted to gestures and intentions. She tried pressing buttons and moving switches. Tavi observed silently, sometimes raising its hand in approval when Myra made progress. Myra felt proud and amazed. This was unlike any machine she had ever seen. It required not only tools but patience, attention, and understanding. While Myra worked, she noticed movement near the forest edge. Shadows flickered between the trees. She paused and looked closely. Small drones appeared, moving quietly toward the clearing. Myra's heart raced. She had never seen anything like them. Tavi noticed too. Its skin changed quickly from green to bright red, a sign of alert or danger. Myra understood immediately. Something or someone was searching for Tavi, and they were coming closer. Myra whispered, "We need to hide the ship." Tavi responded by projecting small holographic images from its device. Myra could see maps of the surrounding forest and suggested paths that could hide them. Together, they worked quickly. Myra dragged branches and leaves to cover parts of the ship, while Tavi used small energy pulses to create a shimmering camouflage over the remaining panels. They moved silently, avoiding the sound of snapping twigs underfoot. The drones reached the clearing, scanning the area. Myra and Tavi stayed perfectly still behind the natural cover. The drones hovered, lights scanning in different directions. Myra felt her pulse quicken. If the drones discovered Tavi, they would take it away. She clenched her fists and thought about how far she had come with Tavi in just a few days. She would not let anyone harm or capture her friend. After a tense few minutes, the drones moved on. Myra and Tavi waited until the sound of their engines faded into the distance. Tavi's skin shifted back to soft blue, showing relief. Myra exhaled slowly. She looked at Tavi and said softly, "That was close. We have to be careful." Tavi touched her hand lightly. The glow confirmed understanding and trust. Myra realized that their friendship was not just about learning or fun anymore. It was about protection and courage. With the immediate danger gone, Myra returned to the ship. She worked alongside Tavi to repair the damaged panel. The task was difficult. The ship's materials were flexible, yet strong, and they did not respond like normal metals or plastics. Myra experimented carefully, observing how the lights and textures shifted with her touch. Tavi assisted by using its device to stabilize the damaged section. Myra marveled at the teamwork. Neither human nor alien alone could have succeeded so quickly. By afternoon, the panel was almost fixed. Myra wiped sweat from her forehead. She smiled at Tavi. "We are doing it," she said. Tavi's skin glowed bright green in approval. Myra felt proud. She realized that courage and patience were just as important as knowledge. Together, they had faced the first challenge, not with fear, but with determination and trust. As the sun began to lower, Myra heard the distant sound of people in the town. She realized that if anyone discovered the ship, it would create panic. Myra and Tavi decided to move some small items into the forest for protection. They gathered tools, small panels, and parts from the ship that could be hidden easily. Myra noticed that Tavi seemed worried about leaving the ship unattended. She reassured it gently. We will protect it together, she said. Tavi's glow shifted to soft yellow, a sign of trust and comfort. Before nightfall, Myra and Tavi sat near the stream. Myra shared some of her food, and Tavi responded with a gentle sound, its skin glowing in soft shades. Myra realized that even though they had faced danger and difficulty, their bond had strengthened. They had not only repaired the ship but had learned the importance of teamwork, courage, and quick thinking. Myra also thought about the larger world. Tavi's journey was far from over. The drones had shown her that Tavi had enemies or authorities in other parts of the universe. Myra understood that the friendship she had formed carried responsibilities. She needed to be brave, to help Tavi, and to protect their bond from those who might not understand. Night came, and the forest was quiet. Myra and Tavi watched the stars reflect in the stream. Myra felt a deep sense of connection, not only to Tavi but to the larger universe. She realized that there were worlds she had never imagined, challenges she had never faced, and friendships that could change the future. She whispered softly, "Tomorrow, we will continue. We will be ready." Tavi raised its hand and touched hers, confirming the promise. Myra returned home that night, exhausted but filled with a sense of purpose. She knew that the first challenge had taught her important lessons. Courage, trust, and patience were as powerful as any technology. She also knew that the journey with Tavi would continue, and that together, they could face whatever the universe might send. Myra fell asleep, dreaming of glowing lights, forest adventures, and the promise of friendship that crossed the stars. The forest was calm in the early morning, with sunlight streaming through the trees in golden beams. Myra moved quietly along the path to the clearing, carrying a small bag of tools and food. Her mind was alert. After the encounter with the drones, she knew that danger could return at any moment. Myra's steps were careful, avoiding broken branches and loose stones. She wanted to reach Tavi safely and make sure the alien and its ship were secure. When she arrived, she saw Tavi near the ship, its skin glowing soft blue. The alien seemed calm, but Myra could sense a quiet tension. She approached slowly, offering a small piece of bread. Tavi nodded and took it, the colors on its skin shifting with contentment. Myra smiled. Even in danger, Tavi's presence brought comfort. She felt that together they could face anything. Myra began to examine the ship. She wanted to strengthen the camouflage from yesterday and make sure no one could spot it easily. She moved branches, leaves, and small rocks to cover the edges, while Tavi used energy pulses to create a faint shimmering shield. The ship seemed to respond to their teamwork. Myra marveled at how alive it felt, as if it trusted them both to protect it. Suddenly, movement in the trees caught Myra's attention. She froze and looked carefully. Shadows shifted quickly, faster than any animal in the forest. Myra's pulse quickened. From the branches and underbrush, small drones appeared, silently moving toward the clearing. Myra signaled to Tavi, pointing toward hiding spots near the ship. Tavi's skin turned bright red, a clear sign of alert. The drones hovered close, scanning the area. Myra held her breath and stayed still, counting every second. Tavi crouched behind a large rock, using its device to create small holographic projections that confused the drones. The projections made it look as though the clearing was empty, hiding the ship and the two friends. Myra watched in awe as Tavi's quick thinking worked perfectly. One drone moved closer to the edge of the cover, almost spotting them. Myra's hand shook slightly as she moved a branch to block the drone's view. Tavi's skin flashed bright yellow, a signal of careful attention. Together, they managed to remain hidden. Myra felt her heart racing but also felt proud of their teamwork. She realized that courage was not the absence of fear but the ability to act despite it. After several tense minutes, the drones moved on. Myra waited until the last one disappeared before exhaling slowly. Tavi's skin shifted back to soft blue, a sign of relief. Myra smiled at the alien. "We did it," she whispered. Tavy touched her hand lightly, confirming trust and understanding. Myra knew that their bond was stronger now because they had faced danger together. With the immediate threat gone, Myra focused on repairing the ship further. She examined a damaged panel near the base. It was scratched and slightly bent from the landing. Myra carefully applied small tools, adjusting the metal and watching the lights respond. Tavy helped, using its glowing device to stabilize the panel. Myra realized that patience, observation, and trust were as important as skill. The work required both human and alien effort. While working, Myra thought about the town nearby. She knew that if anyone discovered the ship or Tavy, it could cause fear and confusion. Myra also knew that not everyone would understand the importance of this friendship. She felt responsibility not only for Tavy's safety but for teaching others that trust and cooperation could overcome fear. Myra made a mental plan to explain things slowly, carefully, when the time was right. After repairing the panel, Myra and Tavy decided to create a small signal system. The idea was to warn each other if danger approached again. Myra gathered materials from her bag and small parts from the forest, while Tavy projected energy threads that could connect the devices. When completed, the system could send a faint pulse across the clearing, alerting them silently. Myra tested it, and Tavy's skin glowed bright green with approval. By late afternoon, Myra felt proud but also tired. She and Tavy had worked together through danger, repairs, and planning. The forest seemed peaceful now, but Myra knew this calm could be temporary. She sat by the stream and offered Tavy water. The alien drank carefully, its skin shimmering soft blue. Myra felt a sense of deep connection. They had faced fear together, and their trust had grown. Myra realized that their bond was more than friendship. It was a promise of protection, understanding, and courage. Tavy seemed to feel the same. Its gestures were gentle, careful, and patient. Myra smiled. She understood that even though Tavy could not stay forever, the time they spent together was precious. She wanted to make sure every moment counted. As evening approached, Myra and Tavy prepared for the night. They chose a safe spot near the stream, hidden by rocks and trees. Myra built a small fire, careful to keep it small so it would not attract attention. Tavy watched, glowing soft yellow, its presence comforting. Myra told stories of her childhood, of simple joys like playing near the river, building small machines, and dreaming of the stars. Tavy listened, its skin shifting colors in patterns that Myra found beautiful and calming. Night fell, and the forest became quiet. Myra and Tavy stayed close, watching the stars appear in the sky. Myra realized that even though danger had come close, they had learned important lessons. Teamwork, courage, and careful thinking could overcome challenges. She also understood that friendships that crossed worlds could teach humans and aliens alike about trust, respect, and hope. Before sleeping, Myra whispered softly, "Tomorrow, we will be ready for anything." Tavy touched her hand, a glowing signal of agreement and trust. Myra felt warmth in her heart. She knew that the hidden threat would return one day, but she also knew that together they could face it. Myra fell asleep that night, dreaming of glowing lights, forest adventures, and the promise of courage and friendship that crossed the universe. The morning sun broke through the trees, lighting the forest with soft golden rays. Myra woke early and prepared her bag for another day with Tavy. Today, she felt a new determination. The encounters with the drones had taught her that danger could appear unexpectedly, but she also knew that courage, patience, and careful thinking could help them face any challenge. Myra was ready to learn and to teach Tavy about her world. When she arrived at the clearing, Tavy was waiting near the stream, its glowing skin shifting soft blue and green. Myra approached slowly and waved. Tavy responded with a gentle wave of its hand. Myra offered food, and Tavy took it with a small nod. Myra smiled. Even in the early hours, their friendship felt strong, filled with trust and understanding. Today, Myra decided to show Tavi more about the town of Lyra. She led the way along the forest path, pointing to small plants, insects, and birds along the route. Tavi observed everything carefully, touching leaves gently and examining small stones. Myra explained how humans used plants for food, medicine, and tools. Tavi responded with curiosity, its skin glowing bright green. Myra realized that sharing knowledge was a powerful way to build trust. As they approached the edge of the forest, Myra looked toward the town below. She could see small houses, gardens, and people walking along the streets. Myra explained, using gestures, that these were her neighbors and friends. Tavi listened closely, tilting its head and observing with wide eyes. Myra felt proud. She understood that learning from each other was not just about information, it was about respect, understanding, and courage. Suddenly, a small animal ran across the path. Myra pointed and explained its habits, showing Tavi how it collected food and built a nest. Tavi crouched and watched carefully, mimicking Myra's gestures. Myra laughed softly, feeling joy in teaching and seeing Tavi learn. She realized that courage was not only about facing danger but also about exploring new ideas, learning new skills, and trusting in the process. After walking for some time, Myra decided it was time to teach Tavi something more challenging. She found a small hill with uneven stones and loose soil. Myra carefully led Tavi up the hill, showing how to step carefully and maintain balance. Tavi struggled at first, its skin flickering yellow as it tried to adjust. Myra encouraged it gently, holding out her hand for support. Slowly, Tavi learned to move steadily, and its skin glowed bright blue with happiness. Myra felt proud of Tavi's courage and patience. At the top of the hill, Myra and Tavi could see the entire forest. The trees stretched in every direction, and the town lay peacefully beyond. Myra explained how humans work together to build houses, grow food, and help each other in times of need. Tavi listened closely, its glowing skin shifting in colors Myra had not yet seen. Myra understood that Tavi was learning not just about the physical world, but about the values and spirit of humans. While resting on the hill, Myra shared more personal stories. She told Tavi about her childhood, about the small machines she had built, and about her dreams to explore and understand the world. Tavi listened, making soft melodic sounds. Myra realized that courage was also about sharing one's story and trusting others with one's thoughts and feelings. She felt a deep connection with Tavi, stronger than any words could express. After resting, Myra noticed movement near the edge of the forest. Small drones appeared again, moving quietly but deliberately toward them. Myra's heart beat faster. She whispered to Tavi, signaling to hide. Tavi responded immediately, creating holographic images to distract the drones. Myra used branches and rocks to cover their path, carefully keeping out of sight. Together, they moved with precision and patience, avoiding detection. The drones scanned the hill for several minutes, then moved on, leaving Myra and Tavi unharmed. Myra exhaled slowly and smiled at Tavi. "We faced them again," she said softly. Tavi's skin glowed soft green, a sign of relief and trust. Myra realized that courage was not about acting without fear, but about remaining calm, thinking clearly, and trusting each other in difficult moments. As the sun began to lower in the sky, Myra and Tavi descended the hill and returned to the stream near the ship. Myra examined the repair work from earlier days and added small improvements. Tavi assisted, using its energy device to stabilize parts of the ship. Myra felt a sense of pride. Together, they had faced danger, learned new skills, and strengthened their bond. The forest seemed peaceful again, but Myra knew vigilance was always necessary. Myra decided to practice more lessons with Tavi before nightfall. She taught the alien how to identify plants that could be used for food or medicine. Tavi touched leaves carefully, observing textures and shapes. Myra showed Tavy how to collect small stones and arrange them to mark paths. Tavy followed her instructions, sometimes making mistakes but always learning. Myra realized that courage also meant trying, failing, and trying again without giving up. As evening came, Myra built a small fire, careful not to make it too bright. Tavy sat beside her, its glowing skin reflecting soft colors in the firelight. Myra shared her food, and they rested quietly. Myra thought about the lessons of the day. Courage, she realized, was not only about facing enemies or danger, but also about exploration, learning, teamwork, and trust. Tavy had shown bravery in the face of challenges, and Myra had learned bravery in teaching and protecting her friend. Before sleeping, Myra whispered to Tavy, "Tomorrow, we will continue to learn and be ready for anything." Tavy raised its hand and touched hers gently. The glow from its skin confirmed understanding and agreement. Myra felt warmth and hope in her heart. She knew that the journey ahead would be difficult, but she also knew that courage and friendship could overcome fear, danger, and uncertainty. Myra returned home that night, exhausted but filled with purpose. She reflected on the lessons of the day. Courage was patience, teamwork, trust, and the willingness to face challenges together. Myra smiled as she drifted to sleep, dreaming of glowing lights, forest adventures, and the friendship that had begun to change her life and the world around her. The forest was calm in the early morning. Myra walked quickly along the path to the clearing, carrying a small bag of food and tools. She felt a mix of excitement and worry. Today, she hoped to spend more time with Tavy and to prepare for the day when the alien might have to leave. Myra had grown very close to Tavy, and the thought of saying goodbye filled her with sadness. She hoped to make the day meaningful for both of them. When she arrived at the clearing, Tavy was near the ship, its skin glowing soft blue and green. Myra smiled and waved. Tavy responded with a slow wave of its hand, showing trust and calm. Myra offered food, and Tavy accepted it gently. Myra felt warmth in her heart. Even though the future was uncertain, their bond remained strong. She realized that friendship was more important than fear of loss. Myra spent the morning working with Tavy on the ship. Small repairs were needed after the earlier challenges. Myra held tools carefully, following Tavy's guidance. The alien's skin shifted colors to show approval and encouragement. Myra felt a sense of teamwork and accomplishment. She understood that even when danger or difficulty appeared, cooperation could solve problems. She also realized that their bond had grown deeper through shared effort and trust. As the sun moved higher in the sky, Myra sat near the stream and looked at Tavy. She thought about the day when Tavy might have to leave. Myra felt a quiet ache in her heart. She wanted Tavy to stay, but she also knew that the alien had a universe to explore. She remembered her words from before, "Then don't depart." Myra realized that her wish was not selfish but a reflection of love, trust, and hope. Tavy approached her and projected small holographic images from its device. Myra watched in amazement. The images showed faraway planets, cities made of shining metal, and creatures she could not imagine. Tavy was torn between staying with her and returning to explore these worlds. Myra understood immediately. She did not try to stop Tavy. Instead, she smiled gently and touched its hand. She wanted Tavy to know that whatever decision it made, their friendship would remain. The afternoon passed with Myra teaching Tavy more about human life. She showed the alien how to use small tools to build simple machines. Tavy watched carefully, imitating her movements and learning quickly. Myra laughed softly when Tavy made small mistakes, but she encouraged it gently. Myra realized that courage was not only about facing danger but also about learning, growing, and helping others. Tavy had taught her patience and determination, and she was teaching Tavy about life on Earth. As evening approached, Myra thought about the town. She knew the townspeople might be afraid if they saw Tavy, but she also wanted them to understand that Tavy was a friend. Myra decided to bring a few neighbors to the clearing carefully. She explained quietly to them that Tavi was gentle and curious, not dangerous. The townspeople were cautious, but they saw Tavi's soft blue glow and gentle gestures. Myra felt proud. She had helped bridge the gap between fear and understanding, showing that friendship could overcome worry. Tavi responded to the humans with small movements and glowing colors. Myra explained the meaning of each gesture. The townspeople were amazed. They realized that Tavi was intelligent, kind, and willing to communicate. Myra smiled, knowing that she had helped the town understand the value of trust and cooperation. Tavi's presence was no longer a threat but a symbol of connection and learning. Night came, and the sky was filled with stars. Myra and Tavi sat together near the stream, their friends from the town watching quietly from a distance. Myra felt a mix of sadness and pride. She knew that soon Tavi would have to make a choice. She wanted the alien to follow its path, but she also wanted to keep the bond they had formed. Myra held Tavi's hand gently. Its skin glowed soft green, showing trust and comfort. Finally, Tavi approached the ship. The repairs were complete, and the engines hummed softly, ready for departure. Myra watched quietly, her heart heavy but full of hope. She whispered softly, "No matter what, I will always remember our time together." Tavi projected a small holographic image of the forest, the stream, and Myra herself. Myra smiled, understanding that Tavi was sending its own promise, a memory that would remain across the stars. Tavi paused at the ship entrance. Myra stepped forward and touched its hand one last time. She felt warmth and light, as if the bond they shared was stronger than distance or time. Myra whispered, "Be safe, Tavi. Explore, learn, and come back if you can." Tavi's skin glowed bright blue, showing understanding, courage, and gratitude. Myra felt proud of their friendship and the lessons they had learned together. As Tavi entered the ship, the townspeople watched in awe. Myra explained quietly that friendship could cross worlds, and courage could overcome fear. The ship lifted slowly, its engines glowing softly. Myra and the townspeople waved as it rose into the sky. Myra felt a mixture of sadness and joy. She knew that Tavi's journey was just beginning, but she also knew that their bond was unbreakable. The ship disappeared into the stars, leaving Myra standing in the clearing. She took a deep breath, feeling hope in her heart. Myra realized that even though Tavi had left, the lessons of courage, trust, and friendship would remain with her forever. She felt proud of herself and of the town for embracing something new and unknown with understanding and care. That night, Myra returned home, exhausted but inspired. She thought about the time she had spent with Tavi and the challenges they had faced together. She realized that courage was not only about facing dangers but also about opening one's heart, helping others, and protecting what is important. Myra smiled as she drifted into sleep, dreaming of glowing lights, distant worlds, and the friendship that had changed her life forever. The sky was clear and filled with stars as Myra walked toward the clearing. The forest was quiet, and the cool night air moved softly through the trees. Myra's heart was full of memories and hope. She knew that today would be the last day she spent with Tavi before the alien departed on its journey across the stars. Yet, she did not feel sadness alone. She felt pride, courage, and a deep sense of connection that would last forever. When Myra arrived, she saw Tavi near the ship. Its skin glowed soft blue, with hints of green that flickered like the wind in the forest. Tavi looked at Myra, tilting its head in greeting. Myra smiled and held out a small gift she had made, a small device with simple lights she had built to remind Tavi of Earth. Tavi touched it carefully, and the device lit up softly. Myra understood that Tavi appreciated it and would remember her world. They spent the morning together, walking through the forest one last time. Myra pointed out her favorite trees, rocks, and streams. She showed Tavi where she had discovered small animals and hidden paths. Tavi followed closely, observing everything with careful attention. Its skin shifted colors with every movement, showing curiosity and joy. Myra realized that even though this would be their farewell, the memories they shared would never fade. Myra also shared her hopes for the future. She explained how humans could learn from the universe, how exploration and courage could help them grow. Tavi listened quietly, tilting its head and shifting its colors thoughtfully. Myra felt a deep pride. The alien had taught her so much, but she knew she had also shown Tavi the kindness, creativity, and determination of humans. Their bond was not just a friendship, it was a bridge between worlds. As the sun began to rise higher, Myra and Tavi returned to the ship. Myra helped Tavi check the final repairs and the glowing energy systems. The ship hummed softly, ready for travel. Myra felt a mixture of excitement and sadness. She wanted Tavi to succeed on its journey, to explore distant worlds and meet new civilizations, yet she knew that the time they had together on Earth was coming to an end. Before boarding, Tavi projected a series of holographic images. Myra watched in awe as scenes of distant planets, vast oceans, mountains taller than she could imagine, and skies filled with strange stars appeared. Myra understood that these worlds awaited Tavi's exploration. She felt a sense of wonder and hope. The universe was vast, and she realized that the bond they shared could reach across any distance. Myra and Tavi exchanged a final gesture of understanding. Myra held out her hand, and Tavi placed its glowing hand upon hers. A warm light spread between them, a silent promise that their friendship would endure. Myra whispered softly, "Be safe. Explore, learn, and remember me." Tavi's skin glowed bright blue with a gentle pulse, confirming the promise. Myra knew that even across light years, this connection would never fade. The townspeople, who had been quietly observing from a safe distance, approached to see Tavi for the last time. Myra explained that Tavi was a friend, a traveler who came to teach and learn, and that fear should not replace trust and courage. The townspeople watched in amazement as Tavi waved and emitted soft glowing colors. They understood the importance of respect, curiosity, and friendship. Myra felt proud of how far the town had come in accepting the unknown. Tavi then entered the ship. Myra stood at the edge of the clearing, watching as the lights on the craft pulsed softly. She felt a sense of pride mixed with longing. She knew that Tavi's journey was not an end but a new beginning. The ship lifted slowly, rising above the trees, its engines glowing softly in the morning light. Myra waved, and Tavi's glowing hand reached toward her. The image of the bond they shared seemed to stretch across the sky. As the ship disappeared into the vast expanse of stars, Myra took a deep breath. She realized that life on Earth would continue, but it would never be the same. The lessons she had learned, courage, patience, trust, and friendship, would guide her forever. Myra felt inspired to share these lessons with others, to help her town grow, and to prepare for the challenges and wonders that life and the universe would bring. Days passed, and Myra continued to explore the forest, remembering Tavi's lessons and their shared adventures. She built new devices, studied the stars, and taught the townspeople how to observe nature and the sky. Myra realized that Tavi's visit had sparked curiosity and courage in everyone. The forest, once quiet and ordinary, now felt alive with possibilities. Myra smiled as she worked, feeling that Tavi's influence was still present in every glowing thought and careful gesture. One night, while Myra was looking at the stars, a small light flashed far away in the sky. It was faint, but it reminded her of Tavi. Myra smiled, understanding that even though Tavi was exploring distant worlds, the bond they shared would always connect them. She whispered softly, "I will remember you, Tavi." The memory brought warmth and hope, and Myra felt ready for the future. Myra's life continued with purpose. She explored, built, and taught with courage and curiosity. She shared the story of Tavi with those who were willing to listen, inspiring them to embrace the unknown with respect and hope. Myra understood that even brief encounters could change lives and that the universe was full of friends waiting to be found. Years later, Myra would often sit near the clearing, looking up at the stars. She remembered Tavi's glowing skin, the lessons they had shared, and the silent promise that had connected them. Myra smiled, knowing that life was full of challenges and wonders. She realized that the greatest journeys often began with trust, courage, and friendship. Myra understood that humanity had the power to learn, explore, and grow. She believed that the universe held endless possibilities, and that by working together with courage and respect, humans could achieve extraordinary things. Myra had learned that even a single bond, a single friendship, could shape the future of an entire world. As she gazed at the night sky, Myra felt hope in her heart. She knew that one day, Tavi might return, or another friend from the stars might arrive. Until then, she would continue to live with courage, curiosity, and the knowledge that trust and friendship could cross any distance. Myra smiled at the stars, feeling that the universe was no longer distant or lonely. It was full of promise, adventure, and connection. The forest was quiet, but Myra felt the presence of Tavi in every tree, every stream, and every glowing thought in her heart. She realized that the universe was vast, but bonds like theirs were eternal. Myra whispered one last time, softly, "Thank you, Tavi, for everything." The stars twinkled in response, as if sharing her message across the endless sky.